Excellent. Just want to welcome everybody to the co-hosted Eye-bot and Verum webinar this afternoon. We're pleased that you're attending. And today we're going to discuss the pain point that we're all having right now, especially our owners and operators of industrial assets. But due to the crisis, cost restraints, and the current circumstances, the site access is restricted. So Jim and I are going to explore that topic here today and present to you some solutions that Ibot and Veram have come up with to this very real case. So just as a brief introduction, my name is Trevor McMaster. I'm the Chief Client Officer at Veram. So I get to support the business development, marketing, and services and solution team on a daily basis. I have about 20 years industry experience, predominantly in upstream oil and gas around maintenance and reliability, shutdown planning, and such. Jim, do you want to introduce yourself, please?
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks, Trevor. My name is Jim Yanisic. I'm the Director of Client Services here with Ibot Aerial Solutions. At a high level, I work with my team to deliver clients highly accurate 2D and 3D real-world data. We use a variety of data collection sources to ensure the most accurate and relevant data is delivered safely and efficiently every time. So I'll just tell you a little bit more about, what we do here with Ibot. I'll kick it back to Trevor. He can introduce Veram a bit more, and then we can kind of get rolling. So as I mentioned, our focus is data. All of our data is configurable for use in industry-leading CAD, GIS, and asset management software. The data acts as a single source of truth between stakeholders on projects and asset management. We're a safety-focused team of surveyors, drone pilots, GIS, CAD, and geomatics professionals working together to enable customers with high-quality, high-accurate geophysical data. Our data is used for planning, engineering, construction, operations, and maintenance to ensure customers have remote access to their sites. Over the last 5 years, our team of UAS pilots have logged over 1,000 plus flight hours with Royal Dutch Shell, including the monitoring of an ongoing construction of a petrochemical facility in Western Pennsylvania. The data collected for that particular project includes mapping and modeling the near 400-acre site on a weekly basis. We've developed data collection methods that enable us to capture, process, and deliver maps and models of that site in 24 to 48 hours, with accuracies ranging anywhere from 1 to 3 centimeters. So I'm going to go ahead and kick it back to Trevor, let him tell you a little bit more about Veram, and then we can talk about the solutions that we've come together to provide for everyone.
Thanks, Jim. Appreciate it. Just a little bit of housekeeping. Jim and I are going to run through some slides here, not very many. Then we're going to pop into an actual live demo of the Eye-bot Verum solution. And I just want to note in your Zoom menu, you do have an opportunity to ask some questions that we'll be answering during the webinar. But you also have our commitment that any questions that are asked will follow up with you post webinar. And then I just wanted to alert everybody that we are recording this webinar, and we will make it available to the participants at a later time. So just want to highlight a little bit about Veram. This year, Veram is celebrating 7 years. We are headquartered in North America. We have offices in Houston and also in Calgary here. We're actually excited to announce, and we're celebrating a significant investment and vote of confidence by some of our investors. We did a Series A raise that closed recently, so we made that announcement. So very exciting times here for us at Veram. Really, we're a SaaS-based company that without any special hardware or software, you're able to aggregate all your data information into a visual 3D digital twin model. And with accessing it through a Chrome or a recent browser like Chrome or Microsoft, any of that type of thing, you're able to, no matter where you're located around the world, get access to that information. We have clients all over the world. A lot of the top 100 companies of the world subscribe to our solution and services. We're heavily focused in North America, but we have clients in South Africa, in Singapore, in the Middle East, and other locations. And the other thing that I'm very proud about is our subject matter experts, the industry knowledge that Veram brings to Ibot, our partners and our clients. We have a large group of geomatics, geospatial experts that our support and services team are made up of. So they had a lot of credence with consulting with our clients as we deliver our solution. And the cool thing about our application, as I'm going to show you, is we're able to bring in agnostically any visual information an asset may have, bring it together very quickly in a geo-referenced digital twin that you can share with unlimited users, any of your stakeholders within your company, share and collaborate with contractors and such. And then the other cool thing is we're able to add intelligence to that by bringing in data information systems so that you now have a smart digital twin. So why are we here today talking about bringing the site to the office? And a lot of times that's the home office now where the workers are collaborating from. Right now, the problem is travel to site is very restrictive. It's difficult, it's time consuming, and it's non-productive, right? So when we talk to owner and operators and workers, they say, I can't travel to site due to the crisis. Or I need to be more productive, and traveling to site is non-productive. How can we maintain the safety of our people first? And then the concern is, if you're remote, is the data that I have correct? If I don't go to field and see it myself, can I believe in that data? So those are some of the pain points that we're looking to discuss here today. And just some of the industry statistics to back this. McKinsey recently published that 41% of owners and operators of assets are accelerating their adoption of digital technologies to secure that business continuity and to support remote connected workforces as a result of this pandemic. Polaris Marketing said in the next 5 years, smart connected worker and remote worker technology adoption is going to increase by at least 20% year over year. And PwC recently posted that 83% of remote work has been an overwhelming success during this crisis. And 83% of the employers now say the shift to remote work is now a new model. And we're not going to return to the old ways of everybody being co-located or at site. We're probably going to go to more of a next new normal of a hybrid. And then the typical problem we always have is, the majority of owners feel that they need to collaborate more with their contractors, with the other stakeholders. And then the last thing I want to point out with regards to a Deloitte publication here recently, some of the key questions that our clients are asking themselves is, how do we make sure our assets can continue to operate in an environment where everyone feels at risk, right? So once again, how do we secure that business continuity during times of a pandemic? So Jim, I'll throw it back to you and please talk about our solution that we jointly bring to the market.
Absolutely. Thanks, Trevor. So as Trevor mentioned, COVID has thrown everybody for a loop, and not many were prepared to make adjustments on the fly, and rightfully so. But as the adoption of digital remote access becomes more of a reality, we at Ibot have been working in this space for years. What we realized and what happened was everything became, as Trevor mentioned, accelerated at the time when COVID hit. So we knew that we needed our data to be ingested properly with a software that could handle and extract its full value. Our focus at Eye-bot Aerial Solutions has always been 3D. What we found in Veram was a platform that could not only ingest that 3D data, but could help to extract that value for our customers to fully realize the benefits of our data sets that we were creating. So where this solution and this collaboration came from was the ability for both of our companies to stay in our lanes. Ibot with our comprehensive data sets, Veram with their data input agnostic software created a perfect solution for customers to quickly and efficiently move into the remote workspace. So, for us at Ibot, each project begins with a basic understanding of the area of interest and the level of detail. This lets our team of data collection specialists know how to adjust their collection methods to meet customer needs. Our team has worked tirelessly over the years to continue to improve and innovate our data collection methodologies to deliver our customers the highest quality possible. Average accuracies for exterior large-scale data collection can range anywhere from 1 to 3 centimeters using strictly drones and photogrammetry. Interiors are a perfect example of an area where a higher level of detail is often needed. Here, we can provide millimeter accuracies. Data fusion is something else that we've been working on here at Ibot. Data fusion allows us to integrate multiple data collection sources to achieve a more robust interior and exterior data set that can then be hosted in platforms like Virum. So go ahead, Trevor, if you can go ahead to the next slide. I'll talk a little bit more about the data sets as themselves. While our company name is Ibot Aerial Solutions, it's the word solution that carries the most weight. As I mentioned, all of our data is configurable for use in leading CAD, GIS, and asset visualization software. One of our taglines that we use when describing our products is one data set, unlimited uses. As Trevor mentioned earlier, 82% of owner operators feel they need more collaboration with their contractors. We like to refer to our data as a single source of truth among those shareholders and those stakeholders involved in a project. For example, if an engineer needs a DXF file for use in their CAD software and the environmental team needs an SHP for use in Esri, both of those files can be extracted from the existing data sets that we collect. By providing our customers with their visual data in open, commonly used formats, users are enabled to integrate and distribute the data to anyone inside or outside of their organization for any purpose. So as you see on the screen here, we have a couple examples that I'd like to take you through quickly. The 3D mesh model, which you'll see a little bit more of here in the demo, is a perfect solution for asset visualization in softwares like Virum. This data can be used to quickly view and measure anywhere on site, while also integrating with BIM models that a company may have, or are planning to integrate with a new pump or new valve or anything else that they may be doing. The terrestrial laser scanning, as I mentioned, is an opportunity where we discuss higher accuracy, higher detail needs with our customers. The example that you're seeing on the screen there is actually an example of data fusion, where we used an aerial drone data set combined with a ground laser scan to create one single data set that will allow a customer to navigate interior and exterior within the same environment. The 2D ortho map is what is probably the most commonly used data source in the marketplace. Traditionally, I talk to customers, they're using Google Earth, They're using something with Esri that's using satellite data that is maybe accurate within, 50 centimeters, something like that. Our ortho maps that we generate are traditionally accurate, as I mentioned, 1 to 3 centimeters. And, a lot of that is contingent on, the control network that we put in place. All of our operations are led and overseen by a 30-year professional surveyor who has years and years of industry experience and oversees the QA/QC of all of our data before delivering to our customers. On the final section there, you see some CAD work. One of the big takeaways with our CAD is the ability to generate planimetric and contour drawings in 70% less time than traditional methods. Our data sets can be used to monitor earth movement, perform containment calculations, and is all survey and engineering ready. Some of the other ways that our data is being used, for example, is VR. We have some customers that are using the VR for training and onboarding. We also are using it with AR, where if a client is collecting data prior to, for example, a pipe being covered with dirt, they'll actually be able to then use augmented reality in the future to visualize where those pipes are. But one of the biggest things, and I don't have to tell anyone here that the trends are pushing towards, is predictive analytics. If I have to hear one more person talk about their AI or whatever it is, AI has to be taught. We all know that now. What we enable is an AI program to be taught with highly accurate, highly detailed visual data. So for us, that's one of the main benefits that we see that customers have yet to fully realize is the value of the data that we're collecting for use in their future predictive analytics. So I'll go ahead and send it back to you, Trevor, to talk a little bit more about the Veram solution.
Thank you, Jim. I appreciate that. And one of the things that Veram really appreciates about Ibot is that data capture strategy, as Jim was talking about. And one of the things that we bring to market and our secret sauce is we have the ability to agnostically ingest those data sources and ensure back to our clients that they're receiving a geo-referenced, as Jim pointed out, quality assurance and QC checked by geomatics specialists so that they can make decisions on. So with the Veram solution, as I mentioned, it's cloud-based. Our visualization offering, we're able to ingest any 2D, 3D, 4D CAD, for example, your GIS, any satellite imagery, any drone captures, laser scans, reality scans, photos, 2D, 360. And the cool thing is we're able to bring that together within 48 hours and have it geo-referenced so that you get those visual layers in one visual aggregation offering. And I say 48 hours, it's available in the cloud. Often it's a lot quicker than that. And then the second thing, as I mentioned before, we're also able to add intelligence to that visual digital twin. So we're able to integrate our clients' information systems. So think about their computerized maintenance management systems like SAP, Maximo, Infor, any document management system that they would like to add data context into the visual digital twin. Think about real-time operating sensors or Pi or any type of SCADA historian, any information they'd like to bring in to enrich that digital twin so that the stakeholders can collaborate, get a complete picture, and be able to make decisions on. So as promised, Jim and I just took a couple of minutes on a couple of slides. What we'd like to do right now is run a live demo of the Ibot data capture and the Veram solution here. So just bear with me for 1 second, please. So what I'm showing here, I just dived right inside the Veram application. Again, it's accessed through a browser. It's a URL, very secure. We're a SOC 2 compliant company. We have SSO, authentication, and all the security with our very large customers. So basically what I'm showing you here is the visualization of an Ibot drone data capture. So I think, Jim, correct me if I'm wrong, but this site is approximately 1.5 kilometers long, 0.5 kilometers wide, and the Ibot team was able to capture this data under 2 days, basically 2 days on site, which is incredible. And really what it allows collaborators to do is via the cloud and our subscription, unlimited users, start to collaborate and look at the detail. So I want to point out our technology. What we're able to do is take any of those visual information sources that Jim mentioned, CAD, and we turn it into a point cloud. So you get this rendering performance, and you're able to take these large data sets. Often we have over a terabyte of data in one scan that we're able to visualize together. So as you can see, as I zoom in, the accuracy and the point cloud populates to give you that performance. But the cool thing is, I can collaborate with other people. I can, the incredible detail that was caught just by the drone capture itself, as Jim mentioned, down to, centimeter accuracy. I can navigate here amongst the cooling towers. I can look at significant detail. I can use it for planning purposes. So for example, if I zoom into a location here and I want to know, for example, maybe I'm planning to take some lifting equipment through this pipe rack here. I can do a measurement and I can quickly say that, between this pipe rack, it's 9 meters or 27 feet. I can actually leave a conversation here for my contractor or the planners and say clearance 25 feet type of thing. I can create that conversation. I can send it to them for collaboration and such. I can clip out a section of this point cloud and send it to my engineering group for further design within their specialty software. I can invite other stakeholders into the conversation. So think about when you're bidding to subcontractors, you can invite them into this Ibot visualization subset or visual set and collaborate on that. The contractors don't have to go to site. I could talk to my crane vendor about this particular job. I could send a shared view to maybe even my rotating mechanic to have a conversation on what's going on in the asset. But again, as Jim pointed out, this is just a drone flight within 2 days, and you've got a significant visualization of your asset that you can do a lot of things with, for sure. So if I scroll back and I jump out to maybe the interior of one of the pump houses here. So what you're looking at here is, as Jim mentioned, this is an interior terrestrial laser scan. So the drone was about 1 to 3 centimeter accurate. Now we're looking at a laser scan that is sub-millimeter accurate. And you can see as I dial in and allow the point cloud to populate, the visuals are good. You can read nameplates. Hell, I can even read chalk marks on this piece of piping spool. And this allows you to do a lot of things, not only in addition to that very accurate sub-millimeter accuracy on measurement for maintenance planning, turnarounds, shutdowns. But in this case, the customer did not have a CAD. So they took this laser scan, they exported it, and then imported it into their design software, and they used it for coming up with a CAD model to replace this pump and these spools. So you can see you now have the existing conditions. Apologize. You have the existing conditions. You've got the new CAD model overlay. So you're able to collaborate with the local folks and do some model reviews. You're able to do some clash detection. So for example, I can go in here and I can see that the new spool is going to clash with this foundation. So we've got to do some modifications there. I can add notes and collaborate. This pipe support needs to be moved and such. So very beneficial in that use case. And then the other thing is these spools and these pumps were being manufactured off-site. So what we also were able to do is to take, and we had Ibot do this, we were able to take reality scans of the actual spools as they're being placed. So you can see here the gray coming in. So the gray is the fabricated reality scan sitting on the shop floor. And then we were able to bring them in virtually into the site and fit them together to see if there's going to be any clash, any quality assurance or such. In this case, even though the fab shop passed each spool individually through their QA check, we found with the virtual fit up that there was going to be a problem upon installation. And in fact, after you put all, say, 12 spools together, it was out of tolerance to the point that it would not have fit in the field. They would have had to do modifications at the field, and it would have cost them an additional 1.5 days on their shutdown. So significant value added with regards to that use case as well. And then the other thing I want to show you in addition is the ability to bring in some of those information or intelligence systems so that you're able to use it. So I'm just going to turn on the Objects tab here. And you can see, for example, we've tagged some of the equipment and we've assigned work orders to it. So this is actually integrated in near real time with the client's Maximo work order system. And basically, visually, they wanted to see their work orders in a kind of traffic light heat map. So show me the work orders in red of a certain high priority that are past due. Show me the work orders in green that are lower priority or are not past due. And show me the ones in yellow that are kind of at risk of going to green. So you can see that maintenance planning, risk heat map type of application. And then the other thing is we're able to bring in, as I mentioned, real-time operating parameters. So for example, on this heat exchanger over here, you can see it's tied into the Pi system. So we're seeing the rotation, temperature, and pressure on this blade as it turns as well. We're able to bring in all the metadata from a CAD, any type of information our client wants to see. And just to highlight how you can do that in real time, you can see here we've actually got an Ibot drone flying around the outside of the building, and we're visualizing the path of that drone as well. So just think about this. You can extrapolate that to tracking of people on site, to equipment on site, to inventory. The applications of that real-time IoT sensor visualization are fairly endless. The other thing I just want to briefly show you is we can also take the same information. You're looking at a skid module here, a CAD and a reality scan overlay. And I'm going to turn off the CAD model. And you can just see here the, as Jim mentioned, a terrestrial laser scan of this skid. And what our algorithms are able to do is to give you digitized, and I'll shut off the laser scan here, progress and quality assurance monitoring during a construction period. So what you see here is our computer vision is telling you in green what has been installed and within tolerance. In yellow is what has been installed but out of tolerance as defined by the client down to that sub-millimeter level that Jim had talked about. And what is in red is not installed yet. So then you're able to get digitally verified progress on how your construction project is going, as well as pointing out issues for quality assurance, class detection, conversations with your engineering and contractors. So in a nutshell, that's how Veram is able to take advantage and be able to aggregate the data that Ibot is collecting for their clients and how we're able to add value back to the clients again. All with the focus on bringing the site to the end stakeholder, whether they're at an office or even a remote home office application. So with that, I'm going to stop sharing and we're going to go over to the Q&A side because we're interested to hear and see what kind of questions or input you guys have.
Yeah, Trevor, I see we have a few questions here. So I'll try to pick off some of the ones that I know are relevant for us and, you know, kick some over back to you. So one of the questions that we had was, how do we verify the accuracy of the data? So for us at Ibot, as I mentioned, you know, all of our projects are overseen by a professional land surveyor. I will never claim to know everything that he knows because I'll just make a fool of myself by trying to replicate everything that he knows. But, you know, I do know that traditionally we're looking for benchmarks on sites, you know, known existing points that the site has. And we're typically tying that into our own control network that will allow us to accurately geolocate the models that we're creating. So I also see here, you know, the question about the demo, the exterior was strictly drone photogrammetry. There was no terrestrial scans on that exterior. And that was one that we just, you know, for the customer's needs needed to be done exterior with the photogrammetry alone.
Yeah, Jim, and I'll just augment on that. Inside the building, the pump house building on that site, that's where you saw the terrestrial laser scan that Jim mentioned. And I think the accuracy of that scan, Jim, was down to a 3mm level. Just to highlight, all of those data sets that Jim talked about, whether they're drone, photos, 360, CAD, 2D, Veram is able to geo-reference those layers into one common viewing environment. And as Jim mentioned, that we also have a very strict QA/QC on top of our computer secret sauce, our application secret sauce, to ensure those geo-reference layers are very, very accurate. Just want to take another one here, Jim, if I talk about, so Scott brought up a question about, you know, he says here, very cool presentation. What does a project like this cost for the client? So I'll answer it from a Veram side of things. Scott, our commercial model is that SaaS monthly subscription model. It's you know, for a fee depending on the size of your asset or your project. There's a monthly fee, and what you get for that is basically unlimited users that you can put on the application. You also get you know, pretty much unlimited data that you can bring into that common viewing environment. We also have the ability, as I mentioned, to integrate information systems in there. So there's a per charge for that. But I guarantee you it's a very competitive pricing model. It's able to scale with the client and the asset through the life cycle. And more importantly, our clients show significant payback and ROI, you know, as little as month 3. And we can stand this up within 48 hours. If we're integrating information systems, it's a matter of days or a couple of weeks. It's not months. Go ahead, Jim, from an Ibot side.
Yeah, and you know, a lot of what you talked about, Trevor, as far as the size and the scale is kind of what dictates the Ibot pricing as well. So as I mentioned, when we're kicking off a project, the conversation is always area of interest and level of detail. So for a customer that's looking just to have the exterior model created because they want to have basic asset visualization for measurements, and you know, maybe they need, you know, they're acquiring an asset that needs CAD, whatever it may be, that dictates the price. So basically the amount of time on site. One of the things that makes us the most unique, in my opinion, you know, compared to the traditional methods, is that we use a drone centric capture and then supplement with, you know, the ground-based scans. Traditionally, 3D scanning companies are setting up and moving around at you know, a tiresome pace, trying to cover a whole facility. By using a drone initially to collect as much data as possible, we reduce our time on site significantly. So again, our costs come in very competitive. Traditionally, we offer, you know, a ballpark per acre price when we're talking exterior. And then when we get into interiors, it's about just that level of detail that's necessary. So always happy, you know, if a customer is able to provide us with a little more detail about their site to generate a relatively quick quote for them.
And the value, Jim, for a lot of our clients is not just the cost component side of things. It's really enhancing and improving safety, and even, you know, greenhouse gas emissions. So less people flying to the site, less people traveling, less people at that operating asset, you know, and exposed to safety concerns. It's of big value to our customers. Maybe I grab another one, Jim, here from, I think it's Skeller. They state, very powerful. As time progresses and projects start and complete, how do you keep the environment from being cluttered with legacy notes and measurements? That's a very good point, Skeller. We have a couple clients that actually have, for example, you know, over 500 reality scans in the application. Our application is very intuitive. So it has, you know, kind of a change management process where you're only seeing the latest digital scan or even part digital scan of that asset that it shows. But the important thing, those other remaining scans always stay available to the end client so that they can do look backs historically, right? So it's not just comparing reality scan to the CAD for as-built comparisons or progress comparisons, but you might want to look back and compare reality versus reality, or progression over time. Or, you know, when you look at warranty claims, you may want to go back in a point in time and say, what did my asset look like at that certain point in time? It's powerful for accident investigations to be able to go back in time and see what the asset looked like at that point. So great question there. And again, our application is able to historically archive those comments, those additional layers.
And just to follow up on that, Trevor, you know, one of our other questions that we have here is, how often can a site data be updated? You know, you made a mention to reality versus reality or progress over time. Traditionally, you know, our customers are having us capture, depending on the project. If it's a, you know, obviously a construction project is at a much more frequent rate. As I mentioned, we have a site just under 400 acres that we're updating weekly because we can turn around that data in 24 hours. So, you know, being able to have that progress monitoring and being able to share that in, you know, next to real time has proven to be extremely valuable for the project, especially amidst, you know, everything that we have going on with COVID and the inability to travel.
And Jim, very powerful for you know, our owners, operators, and clients to have that information, you know, as it transitions through the asset life cycle from design to construction. Having that rich digital twin and that repository of what's been going on as it transitions into operations and maintenance is so, so powerful. Hector is asking here, Jim, he's stating, commercially, is one of us in the prime and the other one is a sub, or is there a separate and independent contracting and billing process? So I can take a crack at that, Jim, and you can correct me. But Hector, it's really, you know, it can be either or. We have a very flexible relationship with Ibot, where on some opportunities, Ibot takes the lead with the client, and they, you know, add our application in as a reseller opportunity, and they maintain the full relationship. And we fully support Ibot and the end client to that. There's other opportunities where we take the lead and we ask Ibot to do a certain portion of that solution on our behalf. So I think, Jim, if you agree, it's pretty flexible on how we're able to do that. We're also able to, you know, get in front of a client and bring a solution where it's two independent type of commercial streams as well. Anything to add there, Jim?
No, you're spot on. Traditionally, you know, our data lives for, you know, it has a long shelf life. You know, so for us, you know, Trevor and their SaaS program, you know, we have the ability to offer recurring captures for our customers so that we can update as you know, time goes on. But then we also have the ability to come in if they know there's a specific area of interest that they maybe are replacing, you know, a pump, or they want to have that recaptured ahead of time. You know, that's when we step in. So traditionally, we're working, you know, with the customer based off of their needs, to you know, make sure that we can both satisfy what it is that they need. Yeah,
each company's valuation, you know, is totally separate. Veram is not a data capture company, and Ibot is not an asset visualization application. So very complementary. We've got time, Jim, maybe for one more question, or maybe two. But I'm gonna ask or try to answer Casey's here. They say, who owns the data and the imagery if the subscription is canceled? From a Veram perspective, all of the data that we ingest and host and visualize is owned by the client, okay? And when the subscription is canceled, most of our terms and conditions basically ensure that we return that data to you. The end client owns the data. Anything from you on that, Jim?
Yeah, Casey, traditionally what we're doing with customers is we're helping them to manage the data, and we provide all of that to them, you know, through a shared, you know, AWS, for example, to make sure that the client has their data. And for us, you know, one of the big things, again, that we always discuss is that one data set, unlimited uses. Our data can be used in a myriad of softwares and solutions. So it's, you know, if the subscription's canceled, our data can live on in another system, though I don't think you would ever want to cancel your subscription with Veram. You know, but that's just me. I wouldn't cancel my Veram subscription if I, you know, but the data can live on, and it's the customer's data to make that decision on what they do with it.
Excellent, guys. 30 seconds left, so we're going to try one more question here from Christian. For what types of projects is this application focused? Can we manage and carry with this type of projects, industrial maintenance management? Well, Christian, you're really speaking to my heart here, as I mentioned. The Veram application is suitable for any industrial project or asset, including civil works. And the beauty of it is, and where we're finding the very, very high value, is transferring that information into operations and maintenance and be able to have that data aggregation and visual common viewing environment for the maintenance, for the brownfield projects and engineering folks. So that's a big focus for us. And Jim can answer from the Ibot side, but I think they can visualize any type of asset or project. Go ahead, Jim.
Absolutely. Yeah. Happy to help on any type of project, asset, industrial site. our team works everywhere and anywhere. So absolutely.
With that said, Jim, I want to thank everybody for attending. You have our commitments that we are going to follow up and answer all of the questions that we weren't able to get to. We ask that you guys, your peers and your families, just stay safe in this pandemic environment, and please reach out to Ibot and Veram because we can add value to your pain points. Jim, you got the final word.
Thanks, Trevor, and thank you everyone for attending. I hope you all enjoyed this, and again, please feel free to reach out with any questions you may have. Take care, everyone.
Cheers.